Well, thank you everyone for joining Darien Library this evening for Get Organized with Adèle, Spring Cleaning Edition. Adèle Mahabir was born in Trinidad and currently lives in Darien, Connecticut. I didn't need to say Connecticut. Since her childhood, organizing and cleanliness have been a healthy obsession for her. So naturally, she made it a field of study and occupation. Moving to New York as a teenager, she initially pursued a career in accounting while studying interior design at FIT. It wasn't until her late 30s when she was hired by her employer to manage the move from their Westchester home to their New York City apartment to a condo in New Jersey. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of moves. This experience gave her a push to change career paths and to dedicate herself to her passion of creating clean, functional spaces, and Adèle Organizes was born. Before we begin, I'd like to mention that programs at Darien Library are made possible by annual Friends of the Library campaign. We thank you for your support to make programs like this, as well as our collections available to the community. And now I'm going to pass the floor over to Adèle. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Sorry I can't see you, but I see you virtually. My name is Adèle Mahabir. I'm the owner of Adèle Organizes. I think my main focus today is going to be on organizing closets. Well, I want to talk first a little bit about spring cleaning. It's spring officially, and the closet in the back, you see the message, I know, isn't that amazing? Spring is here, and I think it's always in people's minds, okay, it's spring, I need to, clean out my house or a closet or the kitchen or something like that. The first approach in any room, any drawer, any closet, whether it be a master closet, a bathroom, kitchen, basement, garage, it's always most effective to empty out its entire contents and have a clean slate of whatever drawer or closet or room, and go through each item and really think about it, feel it, touch it, and really decide and think about it. If you need it, how long have you used it? Am I really going to use this again? What does it mean to me? Think about all of that and come up with various piles of keep, donate, trash, and even sell. So that's my main theory and most effective way with targeting any sort of spring cleaning project. Even if it's your kitchen and it may feel overwhelming at first, but the best approach is to just empty it all. And it is going to be a big mess, and you're going to be like, oh my God, what did I just do? But that's the only way to approach such a project.
Would you give yourself a timeline for that? Because I feel like I would get distracted.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this in a while.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it is distracting. I would give yourself like a full day. Say if it's to your kitchen, I would make sure you have like a good, maybe even 6 to 8 hours to really think about everything and process it, and figuring out, so we hold on to so many things we don't use. So you really have to see it and think about it. And yeah, you look at it and you're like, am I really going to use this? Or there are certain appliances we use once a year, things like that. I'm not necessarily saying get rid of something you use, like an appliance once a year. Like I use my crock pot, 2 to 3 times a year, but I still use it. So I'm not saying get rid of it. I'm just saying we just have to store it accordingly in an effective way. Should I start with my organizing stuff? I'm going to focus on a closet today. So the basics, I want to start with hangers. Hangers are, so let me tell you the first thing. So if I was working in your master closet, the first thing, as I said, would pull everything out. I would pick up a couple organizing supplies before a project. A hanger is a main essential, besides baskets, of course, but these felt ones are really effective. And I like the lighter color because it sometimes the black color or brown can leave stains on your lighter colored clothes. So I like this color. The felt, it does not leave that pushed up, ruining your sweaters kind of thing. Although my rule is that I fold all sweaters. Sweaters are not meant to be hung. They really lose its shape when it's on a hanger. So if your closet allows, the best and most effective ways to fold your sweaters. But this does not necessarily change the shape of your clothing. Things don't slide off because it's felt. And when you use one sort of hanger in your closet, everything stays uniform and it looks neat and, you know, like what I have going on behind me over here. So there are these sizes, and then when I do kids closets, they're, you know, the miniature, these sizes. So I wanted to show you the smaller version as well, because these are great for kids closets and it's the same color. So something else sticking with hanging clothes. There are these dividers, and I ran out of them, but these stickers come with them. There are these dividers that go in between the hangers, so you can label them pants, skirts, and this comes in a package. They come pre-done. I bought these at the Container Store. They're almost like a little hook, and you can separate your clothes accordingly, and it makes it easier to know where this pants, tops, skirts, dresses, and everything kind of just has its home, so you know where to put it back after you've had a week of, you know, wearing your clothes.
Adele, can you share where you usually buy your supplies from?
Yeah, so my main store, my go-to store, although it's far away, is in Westchester, the Container Store. If I have a big project, I'll go and buy all my supplies there. If it's something like just a small closet, I'll go to Bed Bath & Beyond, Target, Home Goods, places locally like that. But for bigger projects, and I feel like for nicer items and to get more of a variety, I make the effort to go to Container Store.
Now, when you go to the Container Store, I know there's different lines of things, different designers. Do you have like set ones that you get, or do you kind of just go with the flow and depending on
I
the
go with the
client?
flow because it's really like a design idea as well, organizing, because I like to make things functional, but I also want it to look attractive and pretty, and I wanted you to enjoy what you're looking at. And this is where like my, you know, background of design comes in. I don't really shop for one particular brand. No. It just kind of like all these ideas come in, and I always buy various things and I play with it. And then I just return whatever I don't end up using. So for shelves, this is perfect. This is a shelf divider that I use. So this clamp here, it slides into the shelf and it holds, like if you have a stack of sweaters or jeans or things like that, or even handbags. Sometimes I do handbags on a shelf in a closet, and this just holds everything in order. And this is just one example of, you know, I buy the clear plastic ones. There's so many varieties, but I like these because it keeps things in order on the shelf in a closet. Obviously baskets are, I'm so close to the camera that it's hard to show all these things, but baskets are amazing in closets. There's so many shapes and sizes. I like these woven ones with the liners. I'll use these. I mean, you can really use them for anything, for, you know, shirts, sweaters, you know, basically any sort of clothing. And they're nice to, you know, line on a shelf and put labels on. There are these tags that slide in right here, and then you can label it, and it just looks pretty and helps you. And they could really be used in any room, in your kids' rooms or in offices, or, you know, they're just such a functional, and they come in so many different sizes. But I like this color, I like the texture, I like the lining of the cloth and all of that. For drawers, this is not necessarily the one that I use for say underwears and socks. You know, they're amazing drawer dividers that you can find really on Amazon or Bed Bath & Beyond, anywhere. But these are great for in any drawer, like even a junk drawer in the kitchen, or I would use this for makeup, or, you know, just office stuff. I mean, something like this is just functional and can be used anywhere. Do we have questions? No? Should I keep going? I wanted to mention my label maker. So this label maker, there's so many varieties of label makers. This is my favorite. I bought this one at the Container Store, but there's so many on Amazon, and there are really a lot of effective ones, but this is my go-to one that I carry around with me everywhere. Um, I want to talk about, these are shoe bins. And these shoe bins, they're plastic, they're clear. And I also use them for other things as well. So again, if it's on a shelf or you need to stack something, or in a mud room or anywhere, I mean, I really like these because they're clear and they're not just for shoes. I mean, I use them for clothes. I use them for miscellaneous makeup under the sink. I mean, they're just so functional and can be used in any room or
Do
anywhere.
they fit all size shoes? Like, I know my
Yes,
husband has big feet.
yeah, this one is actually this one is for men. So they have
Okay.
for men, it says men's shoes here up to number 9. So this is actually the bigger version than what I normally buy, but when I do a male's closet, this is the one I buy. But there's the smaller ones for women, and they
Mhm.
come in like a 6-pack.
And someone wanted to know when you have a moment to tell them the name of your label maker.
Oh yeah, it's called so it's at the
Is it the brother?
no, it's P Touch.
P-Touch.
Brother, yeah, it's Brother P Touch, and it says Container Store on it. So I guess
Thank
it's
you.
their brand or their um okay. So something else I want to mention for drawers, these also are just little baskets that I use everywhere. They actually fit inside of some drawers. They're not that thick. See, they're like that, they're like the size of my finger. They go inside drawers, so you can use them in the kitchen. I use them in closets or in bathrooms. It's just something. And then, they have these little tags that go on the outside to label it. And even for kids, toys or crafts or art supplies, things like that. These are great for that.
Adele, I have a question for you. I have a lot of scarves, and I have a scarf hanger. It's almost like the rings that you slide them through. But I've
Mhm.
seen a lot of people kind of do this fold that like
Yeah,
it's a twist.
it's called a donut thing.
Yes.
I've
What do
seen that
you
too.
typically do?
Yeah, I've done both. Some of my clients, they prefer it to be hanging, especially my clients who like they dress for office. Well, I guess when we used to go to the office every day. I've had one client in Westchester. She actually wanted it, but I do like that donut thing if it's gonna go in a drawer. And there's this way of just twisting it and tying it, and it's almost like a donut. But I
Mm.
prefer that. And then I like to I don't like to stack things because then you're not able to see all of it. So
Mhm.
I create that accordion system where you roll it and then you put it in a drawer and you can see all of them. But that's a great idea. I like that. But I do both according to what sometimes people like say, okay, no, I want it hanging. Um, I mean, I got
Kelly, I see your
something.
hand is raised. You can put your question in the chat or the Q&A.
Um, I see there's 5 things here in the chat. Anyway, so I bought, this is a nylon basket. I just bought different types of baskets. So you see, because people like these were plastic, and some people like, oh, I don't like plastic, don't buy any plastic. These are some woven ones. These, from my experience, last much longer. They're stronger than buying something cloth or the other kind that I showed you in the beginning. This one, sometimes this, after a while they start chipping off, but this nylon one, I've experienced that it lasts the longest, and it comes in different colors and shapes and sizes. And, these are just great for any room for organizing anything. This is the lighter color in it. So you can use it in an office, in a closet, in kids' rooms, and this one has a cover. So it all depends on like what you're doing, what you're organizing, which room you're focusing on. Um, this is a black canvas bin, which I've used for like, scarves, socks, underwear, just really anything. And they have the little tags that you just put on and you label things and keep it in a
And when
functional.
you get those tags, where do you usually find those?
Yeah, those I get also at the Container Store or
Okay.
Amazon. They have a nice variety of them at the Container Store, and I like buying it there. And then I use my label maker, or
Mhm.
there's something called also the Cricut machine.
Oh,
And
yes.
that's really like when you yeah really want to customize things and take it to a whole other level than using that machine. This is also something that I love, and I use these in kitchens. I use it in junk drawers in the bathroom, in kids rooms. I mean, it's just it has different sizes of the basket. It comes, so it's $15 for this whole set, and it's 10 pieces. This I bought at Home Goods. And as you see, like, if you have a cabinet in your bathroom or something, you can really like organize different according to your cosmetics or your, toiletries or things like that. See, there's so many different sizes. And this is a cloth one that I like. Sometimes I just like to like pretty up either a girl's room or a female master closet. These cloth ones are just really nice to put anything in, as far as just anything in your closet. It could be socks or bras, t-shirts. I love these cloth ones, but just sometimes you just want something pretty on the shelf, or so these are really effective. Or if one of my clients has a favorite color, I try to incorporate that into her closet so that she really enjoys looking and being in her closet. These are some clear plastic bins that I really use all over the house. They're clear and they're like that. And I use it a lot in kitchens, but I've also used it in closets. And they're great to just stick a label here on the front. But I find myself using this and in various sizes all over the house, because it's clear. It's just so easy to see anything in a pantry or in a closet or kids rooms or the kids arts and crafts, things like that. So these are really, really great and functional. I really like
Now,
the clear aspect of it.
Adele, when you are organizing your space, I know that some people have the space to keep all their clothes out for all seasons, but
Yeah.
if you don't, what would you suggest?
Yeah, so I actually don't have a big closet, so I have to switch my clothes out according to the seasons, and I bin them and I label them and I put them away.
Mhm.
So if you have a basement or a garage or an attic or something like that, I just switch it over, but I keep it in bins. Some people like it hanging, so I get garment bags and I'll
Okay.
put like dresses that hang because it might get ruined being folded for like 6 months.
Mhm.
So I'll do garment bags or something like that to store it away, and then just label them and keep it organized that way.
Okay.
So it's just going from one place to the next and switching it over. That's
Thank you.
always my best suggestion with, especially even with smaller closets, you have to switch it out according to the season.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
What about for a large shoe collection?
So the large shoe
I saw
collection,
you talked about your bins.
yeah, I would use those shoe boxes and stack them. Even switch out summer and winter, because there's certain shoes that even I wear in the summer, like strappy sandals that you won't wear in the winter. I would use those clear, the shoe bins I showed you before. Let me get them. Um, are you saying with a big shoe collection, like to get rid of some? Is that your question?
No, I'm just curious how you organize them
Yeah,
in the
so
space.
I use it. I would use these and stack them.
Okay.
because sometimes we don't have space to display all of our shoes. So whether it be one wall or a shelf or some corner in your closet, these are great because they can, you can really create a
Mhm.
mountain with them and have fun and, keep your shoes, and then it won't get dust. Then it keeps it nice and clean.
Now, someone wants to know, what about clothes you haven't worn for a few years, but they still fit, like formal wear?
Um, but if you haven't worn it for a couple of years, do you necessarily want to keep it? That would be my first question.
Let's
Like,
see.
why are you holding on to it? It would be my question. So the first thing I would think about is, do I really need that? Will I ever wear it again? Why am I holding on to it? Yes, it might be pretty and expensive, and I may wear it. I wore it to some fancy wedding 10 years ago, but am I going to wear it again? So that's what you need to ask yourself. And if you feel like you need to hold on to it, storing it in garment bags again, just to keep it from the dust and from getting, old and all of that. But that's something I would think about is, if I've had it for so long, why am I holding on to it? That's the main question we always have to ask ourselves when we're sorting through a closet and we need to make a decision as far as, do I keep this or not keep it? And the rule realistically is, if you haven't worn it for 2 years, some organizers do 1 year, but I do 2 years.
A little
Um,
bit more giving.
yeah, because we spend a lot of money on clothes, and it's so hard to say, if I haven't worn it in a year, I'll never wear it again.
Mhm.
I feel like that's a little bit unrealistic.
Going
Um,
back to shoes in those bins, someone wants to know, if you're
yeah.
keeping those shoes in the bins for a long time, will they have a little stench, a little smell when they're
Yeah,
stored?
no, these are built, I mean, for some reason, they're built in a way that it doesn't accumulate dust, but I've never experienced it smelling or getting mold.
Or even just like the funky shoe smell?
Yeah, no, I've never not experienced
Okay,
that. And
that's
there's
good to
so
know.
many versions of shoe bins. This is just one. They have them at Bed Bath and Beyond and Container Store, Target, everywhere. So you can really buy what you feel comfortable. But I've never experienced that with the
Okay,
smell or mold or something like that.
thank you.
They keep them pretty well. So I wanted to show you guys about organizing a drawer, and how to. I'll just slide my chair over for 1 second. Sorry, I gotta
And
move.
someone is suggesting, for those with nice shoe collections, to get charcoal bags you can purchase to keep in the shoe boxes to remove odors.
Oh, okay. See, we're learning from each other. Um, so I'm gonna have to hold this up. So I just wanted to show you guys about organizing a t-shirt drawer. I'm just using this as one example. This is something you can use obviously with your kids' clothes, your husband's clothes, every clothing. But when you fold your t-shirts like this, it's an accordion style of folding clothes, and then you can see everything when you fold your t-shirts and you stack them on top of each other. Most likely you don't ever use the bottom t-shirt ever. Like 10 years will pass and you'll never get to that t-shirt because you do laundry every week. So this way you really get to enjoy all of your clothes, you get to see it and really use it. So that's the best way of keeping clothes organized and functional. I'm gonna show you guys how to fold a t-shirt. So you take the t-shirt. This one's a little wrinkled because it's been
Adele, can you tilt your camera a little bit?
yeah. Let me sit so you can see me. Can you see me folding the t-shirt? Or
Yes.
the two? You can. So you really want to lay it the front of it down. I think I'm gonna stand because this is
Okay.
what I need to do. You lay it down like that. You take can you see?
I
Can you
can
see,
see half of the
Amanda?
t-shirt.
Half of the
We're gonna get the gist of it.
Okay, so all right, so I'll do it like this, and then you go like that, and you take this part down like that, and then you go like that, and then you go like that. I'm trying to do it on myself. And then you fold half of it that way, and then half that way, and half that way. And then it becomes like this little sandwich, and
It's
it's stand
beautiful.
yeah. So then it, once it's standing like that and you have a stack of them, you keep going at it like that, and it's just easy and it stays unwrinkled and, all of that. But that's really
It looks like a clutch the way you're holding it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So it just kind of, and it stays nice and flat, and it, so you don't have to iron it. And did you just learn how to fold a t-shirt, Amanda?
Yes,
Yeah, you
mine do not
did.
look that nice.
Yeah. So that's I don't know, I think we could jump into questions. I kind of showed you all of my fun products, and I don't know if we have
Sure, if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or the Q&A. You don't have to stick to closet organizational questions. If you have
yeah,
any kitchen or basement, attic, whatever you have,
yeah,
please
yeah,
share.
yeah. Yeah, I kind of just made today the focus because of my, closet in the background. But I could talk about, organizing. Say you have a garage, it's the same thing. You empty everything, you figure out, what you need, what you don't need. Getting those metal racks, I get them from Home Depot, and really taking one wall of your garage and setting up those racks and getting bins. And putting things as far as seasonal, it might be Christmas decorations or kids' toys, just storing things that way on those racks keeps it off the floor and, away from dust. And you can just, even like paper plates for the summer, things like that. Just, organizing a garage like that with the metal racks and plastic bins and putting labels on it, and this way you know where everything is and it's functional and clean and accessible.
We have a question someone wants to know about. She says, talk to us about scented drawer liners.
Oh, yeah, you see, I have so many clients who either have allergies or don't like scented things. So
Do
I
you
use
still see them being made?
hardly. I can't remember the last time I did something like that, only because it's something I used to like, and then now with allergies and people just don't like that smell on their
Mhm.
clothes. So, but they have, like, I've used I like these I've used in the past, like Container Store has these wooden blocks, or they actually have these
It's
little
like a
hard
cedar.
ones. Yeah, yeah, and I've put those into drawers just to keep it fresh, and
Mhm.
you don't really get like a smell like a scented paper kind of thing, but I like those.
Someone says, what were the hanger separators that you mentioned before?
Yeah, so if you go, I get them at Container Store. They're called hanger dividers. And if you go onto Amazon, you can get them too. They look exactly like a hanger. They look exactly like this with a hook, but they basically have this little bar on the bottom, and that's where that sticker goes to keep the skirt pants. But yeah, they're at Container Store, Amazon. I've gotten them at both places.
Oh, let's see here. Someone said, can you talk to us about going through items that might be sentimental to you?
Um, so I always suggest with anything paper related. I've noticed with a lot of clients, they hold on to paper, just cards and
Ticket stubs, I'm sure.
yes. So anything paper related, it's really hard when I have to persuade people to get rid of any paper, birthday cards and Christmas cards and things like that. I've experienced that so many times where people hold on to things like that. And the rule is, like, you enjoy it, you cherish it, you keep it in your heart, but you really have to say goodbye to it. That's anything paper related. Like, there's no reason to be holding on to every card that you get for yourself, your kids, through the years. I mean, I have seen some stuff that's really people have held on to every card and every piece of paper. With other things sentimental, as far as furniture or decor or like a lamp or a clock or something like that. Um, I mean, say a family member, say your mom passes away and then she leaves you all the stuff in her house, right? Then and you have a full house of stuff already. So how do you implement all of this stuff that, they have all these memories because growing up you saw all of these things and now you're like, I can't just donate it. So you really have to like pick your most favorite. I really try to advise people that we can't keep everything, but let's really get down and be serious. And it's a bit harsh, but you really have to like, it's such a hard thing to do. But you really have to like say, okay, I'll pick my top 5 or something like that, and give yourself a number and then just target it that way. That's my best advice for sentimental, but I know it's really hard.
Someone wants to know best way to organize a small upstairs fridge and keep backstock for family in a basement fridge. They've tried several methods, but it just keeps getting overfilled and it makes it impossible to find the real food in there.
So there's a small upstairs fridge and backstock in the basement.
Mhm.
So is the backstock is it it's not a freezer, it's a fridge.
It seems, yeah, it most
Um,
likely has fridge freezer.
yeah, so when I've done refrigerators, it's a constant keeping up. I had a client I did a job for in December, and she loved the fridge when it was done, but then she's like, when I buy groceries on a weekly basis, how do I keep it the way that you did it? Because that means I need to empty everything out of the bag, put it into the bin where it belongs, because I did these bins in the closet and labeled everything as far as her vegetables and her fruits and her kids the cheese sticks and all of that. So but she found it difficult to like get it into that bin. So my first answer to that question is it's a weekly upkeep of keeping a fridge organized because you're doing weekly food shopping, right? The upstairs, I would keep in there the things that you use obviously most, like water at night, or if your kids juice or whatever. Like really think about only the things that you would need at night, or if your kids needed a drink while they're doing homework or something like that. I don't know if she keeps food things or is it just a drink fridge?
In my mind, I think it's just like your regular kitchen fridge and then her backstock fridge.
And the box
And
stock
kind of,
fridge is in the basement.
mhm,
And she's asking how to keep it organized.
correct.
Yes, so I use there at the Container Store, they have these fridge bins. Some have covers to keep vegetables and fruits and things like that fresh. Some have no covers, but they just keep it functional and in its place. So that would be my number one suggestion, to just keep things organized in the fridge, is to get those, they're called refrigerator bins. But you really have to like make the effort to put it in the bin that it belongs. And then you can label on Amazon, they sell refrigerator labels for bins. And this is specifically made for your items in your refrigerator. And they're pre-made and they're like, I think they're like $4 or $5 and they come in a pack of like 50. And so I buy the refrigerator bins and then I stick those labels on it. And I find that to be most effective. But you
She
do
said,
have to
thank
make that.
you.
You're welcome. You have
And
to
she says the maintenance is the worst part. Haha.
yeah, you have to keep up with it. That's really hard.
We have a request. Can you teach us how to fold the scarf and the donut? Do you have one handy?
Oh,
Or do you have to go look for one?
I have to go. I don't really use scarves. Oh
Oh,
no. Where am I gonna get a scarf?
I could find a YouTube video and send it to the
Yeah,
group
yeah,
after.
you have to have a scarf. Yeah, I
Oh, and
don't.
someone's saying that, if you do have paper sentimental things, that you can scan them always as well.
Yeah, you can. I've done that. Even with pictures, I'm like, okay, let's just create a file. We scan the pictures and we just keep it, digitally, instead of keeping, so many kids'
Mhm.
pictures and things like that.
And
But again,
speaking,
going back to the sentimental thing for 1 second,
Yeah.
even keeping things that belongs to us, and maybe you don't have the space in your house to display it, but just putting, say, the top 5 or top 10 things that are sentimental to you, say from a family member that left you those things, in a bin, and just labeling the bin and keeping it. At least you know that you still have it and you're not getting rid of it, because it's still in the family and you can pass it along eventually. Although kids now don't want anything that um, you have to give them as they get older. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's fine. Speaking of paperwork, someone wants to know how you manage or recommend managing daily paperwork. They said that on a regular basis, they receive legal and finance papers that they need to keep indefinitely, since businesses only need to keep them 3 years worth.
Yeah, I mean, again, a scanner is just so effective for things like that. There's no reason to have paper anymore. I mean, I scan things, or everything can just be stored digitally now. So I always recommend everything being scanned, including pictures. So that would be my answer to that question.
Okay,
Scan it and save it in a folder that says legal documents.
good idea. What is the biggest mistake that non-professional organizers make when organizing?
Hmm, that's a tough question. What could someone make? What is the biggest mistake you make, Amanda, when you're trying to organize something?
I feel like
Maybe holding on to unnecessary items, because I feel like when people have tried to organize, they're like, oh yeah, I'll just do this myself. And when I'm not there with them, they hold on to things that they don't use, or they don't know how to create the functionality aspect of say a pantry. They're like, oh, I bought these bins and these baskets and now I don't know what to do with it. But you really have to think about function. um, so I think when you try to do things yourself, in your mind, you think you're going to hold on to things that you're going to use, and you don't end up using it. And secondly, the creating that functional, and that's why people, decide to hire an organizer or a professional to come in and help them with that function aspect of it, because I think we all have our special talents, and some people are just not able to like be creative that way in the functionality part of it.
thank you. Okay, we have a handful more. Do you use moth away or something similar when storing clothes for next season?
I don't, but I've used
And you
those
said the
cedar
cedar
chips.
chips are
Yeah, I've used those only because people, I don't know, there's something with the smell of the mothballs and allergies and things like that. And it's something that I've experienced people don't like. So I like those cedar chips.
mhm.
I find those to be most effective, and they don't make your clothes smell really bad.
Going back to sentimental items, someone said that she wants to store sentimental clothes for the next generation, like we were talking to about before this started.
Yeah.
Is it okay to put them in plastic bins or a cloth container? What would you prefer or recommend?
A cloth container? No, I would do plastic bins. They even have, for something like that, say you're going to keep it for 10 or 15 years, I would even use those. So Home Depot has these amazing heavy duty plastic bins, and the way they close, it's almost like, it's really strong and nothing gets in there, not even water. Those I love for like I had this one client, her husband passed away. He was a police officer and he died, and they have 3 young boys, and she wanted to save all of his shoes and his hats and things like that for the boys. So I knew, and the boys are very young. So this will be in those bins for at least 10 or more years. Um, so I bought those heavy duty bins. They're black, they have a yellow cover. They're really strong and nothing gets in them, not even water if there's a
I
flood.
thought I had one near me, but I don't.
Yeah, so those are great for like long-term saving things for long periods of times. I've also used the Ziploc huge bags, the space saver ones, and then you can vacuum seal them. Those are great for, I use that for some of his clothes that she was saving for the boys as well. So I put them in the bags, and then plus she didn't have a lot of space to store things. So I vacuum seal them and stack them on racks, and she kept it in her garage. So that would be my best advice for saving things for kids when they get older or something like that.
Thank you. What do you do with things that have some value but you don't use now, like art?
I sell it. And that's a service that I provide to my clients. If it has value and you want to get rid of it, then I will sell it for you. Or I would just tell you how I do it. On Facebook, I find it most effective these days to sell things on Facebook Marketplace. There's so many tag sale groups to sell things. If it's something of value, is the question of value and how to store it?
I don't know if it's of like physical value or like a personal value. But I know some people, they have almost like a rotation of art in their
Or,
home.
yeah.
So just where to store it and how to store it properly.
Um, with art, I've wrapped it like in bubble wrap, or they have art bins, specifically made for those sizes. You can order it on Amazon or even cardboard boxes. You really want to keep it where it's not going to get scratched or something like that. So I've used bubble wrap, I've used cardboard boxes, and I've used plastic. Plastic. They're almost like plastic art bins, according to the size. That would be my best suggestion. And those can always slide anywhere underneath something, or, as far as space. But you really want to protect it from getting scratched or damaged or wet or something like that. Um,
And this goes back to, I'm sure your answer is going to be to scan it.
yeah.
This person says that they have a huge Tupperware bin full of old photos. Any advice on organizing them?
Yeah, it does go back to that, but of photos. What about doing an album? Or, there's so many companies now online where you can send your pictures to, and they will create a photo album for you. um they'll take the pictures and they'll really like create a masterpiece of artwork for you, which is, I find that so effective. I can't think of the name now, but I think Shutterfly does it. And they basically send you an envelope and you put it in there and you send it, and they create the
Oh,
the
wow.
album for you and they send it back, which I think is amazing. So that would be my suggestion.
Thank you. Someone said they have 100 dinner napkins. Any suggestions besides tossing them?
Oh yeah,
Are they
toss.
all the same
Yeah, toss.
design? Like a quilt.
I would say pick your favorite and really think about which ones you're going to use and which ones have you used, say, in the last 2 to 5 years, and get rid of, like everything now is becoming neutral colors. So if you have, say, like a lot of bright green and reds and things, or oranges, and you're never going to use it, maybe try to just create one bin with some neutral colors that could be used at any time during the year, and get rid of all like the patterns and different colors. But yeah, toss it.
Donate them. Someone wants to know how to organize a pantry.
Oh God, what a tough question. Because where do you start? Um, okay, so let me think about this. How do I best advise this? So first, you take everything out, just like I said with the closet. Um, you have to create categories of, dried goods, canned food, snack for the kids, cereal. Really create categories when you pull everything out of the pantry. I'm gonna grab something from my kitchen. I'll be right back. Hold on.
If anyone has any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat or in the Q&A.
So these, I think I had talked about these in the last, but these are great. So you can buy this in a box. I buy them in a box at the Container Store. and they come in different sizes. So they come, oh, no, I knew that was gonna happen, sorry. So I keep my kids' snacks in these jars, and they come in, so you see, like my daughter likes Cheez-It, so it's labeled here, Cheez-It. Can you see that?
Oh, put on an angle. There you go.
Can you see it?
Yes, you can see it better.
So I keep her snacks in there. She likes goldfish, things like this. So these containers, they come in different sizes. This is a little version. They come in a set of 6 or 8 or something like that, or maybe it's 10. So I put all of the various snacks in there, and I put labels on it, because especially with kids, they, you want things to be that they can see it, they can grab it, it's functional, it's easy for them to just. So in a pantry, I use these jars all the time. You can use it for rice, for pasta, really anything in your pantry, and it has this pop-up seal, so everything stays fresh.
Is it the OXO brand?
OXO, yes,
I love
exactly.
that,
yeah. So that's what that, and you don't have to buy the box. You can buy, like, say you wanted 7 of this shape, you can buy them single as well.
I see them at Costco too.
Yeah, and they have them, and they have a similar version in glass, but I like these because it keeps the freshness with the pop-up. So this is something I use a lot in pantries. These bins, so once you have everything separated according to its category, for your pantry, as far as canned goods, dried goods, snacks, whatever you have in your pantry, these bins are also amazing, to just, I've put, like, how people buy those little packs of snacks, of chips or something like that. You can really empty the box and put it in here and put chips, and then it's easy for the kids to grab it. And I always try with people with younger kids, I use the first shelf for all the kids' snacks so they can reach it and it's accessible. And then I go higher according to what is used the least. So say in a pantry, I will put the appliances on the top that I use only a couple times a year. But yeah, I think first start with pulling everything out, sorting it into categories, using these jars, using these bins, labeling things. What else can I suggest with a pantry? Even using baskets. I use a lot of these woven, this sort of stuff in pantries as well, and getting the clips that go on it and organize it and label it that way. But those are my best bets for pantry.
And have you gotten the OXO brand from Container Store as well?
Yeah, that's where I bought that.
Just double checking. Someone wanted to know.
Anywhere. Yeah, you can get that, and they sell it everywhere now. Bed Bath & Beyond has it as well.
Do you own stock in the Container Store?
I should. No, but I get a 20% discount because I'm an organizer. So
that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I should, right? That's smart.
Yeah, we have a large question here. So someone said they need to downsize and move to a smaller place this year. Yeah. They have already started purging, and they could probably use your help every day for months, but it would cost a fortune. What services do you offer to get a person going? And then how often or for how many hours would you recommend this person hire an organizer in general for this process?
Whoa, that's a big question. Because a significant part of my business is the downsizing and the move management part of someone. So firstly, with downsizing, the sorting of all of your belongings is extremely time consuming. Having an organizer there with you and really holding your hands through the process, because say you're moving at the end of April and you're like, where do I start? When do I start? How do I do this? What do I do? Once I go through this stuff, what do I do with it? Having an organizer there, the value comes in is that person not only is there pushing you through it, because it's like, okay, we got to get this done. Like I've had to really like be on people and strict and like really shove them. not physically, but it makes it so much more effective when I'm there, because people procrastinate and they put it off, and they're like, I'll get to it. Having someone there and advising you, like, really, do you really think you'll use that again, or do you need that, or that's a really big piece of furniture, maybe we could try to sell that or donate it, it's not necessarily going to fit. Like when I work with seniors, for example, and they're moving into like a 2-bedroom senior living facility and leaving a 5-bedroom house. So sometimes they want to take a lot of large pieces of furniture and it does not work. And having a professional there with you and telling you and advising you, most of the time they listen. To answer the question about how would the whole process of hiring an organizer work, is that what it
Let's
said?
see what it was. Um, what you said that? How often and for how many hours would you recommend they hire an organizer in general to help with this
Yeah,
process?
it's really, I would realistically think about your budget and say, all right, God, I've been in people's houses during that process for weeks and months. So, and sometimes I know it really adds up. So you could give yourself a budget and say, okay, I'll do 4 hours a day just to start with, maybe 2 or 3 days that week. I'll see how much I get done, and then I will decide. Like, that's how I work with my clients. I don't require people to do a big commitment into, like, a $5,000 job. I always say, let's start with 4 hours. Let's do one day or even 2 days this week, see how it goes, how much we've gotten done, and then plan for the following week. And this all depends on time, because the last client I moved last month, they called me in, maybe it was 2 weeks before the move. We did not have a lot of time. We had to rush through things and get the house cleaned out, for they were moving to an apartment. So you really want to give yourself enough significant time before the move. But I would say start small with the organizer. Bring them in for a couple hours each day, and take it from there. But it's so worth the investment, having an organizer helping you through that process of your move. It makes it much, much more effective. Um, like with me, I take things away to donate. I sell things. We'll get a dumpster, or have we'll take it away I'll take it to the dump myself. Like, these are all additional services I provide to my
Mhm.
clients. But as we work every day, I take away things. So it's out and it's gone,
That's
and
nice.
we can move on to the next room,
Mhm.
say the next day. So I just like to go room to room, and then we're like, okay, we're done with the kitchen,
That's
and
really nice.
everything is gone, right? So you're not seeing it, and it doesn't feel like clutter, and you're not feeling overwhelmed. So that's the reason why I do that on a daily
That
basis.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So
Now, you said you donate things. Can you tell your recommendations for where the best place to donate is?
yeah, so if you have a lot of things, I've been calling the VA vets, because they come with a truck and they take away everything. Once you put it in bins or bags, you can even leave it at your front door, or in front of your garage, or in the driveway, or wherever. You just have to tell them where you're leaving it. You
Mhm.
don't even have to be home, and they'll come and they'll take away everything for you. That's if you don't want to load things in your car and drive it to sometimes I do P2P in Darien, or I'll do the Darien swap shop, or Goodwill, or places like this. That's when I'm taking it away myself.
Mhm.
But when I have like a whole full house of things, I will call the vets and schedule 4 or 5. They don't limit you on how many pickups you can do. So I would say do that. It's most effective, and it gets your things picked up, and really there's no work involved.
Thank you. Okay, this is a long one. So this person said their main floor is super tight, so they need to utilize storage space as well. We luckily have a full size attic, no AC and no heat depending on season, and like in the attic, and also a very large full size basement, which is semi damp and temperature, but stays fairly comfortable all year. Um, they see here. They want your thoughts on which items to store where. Mementos as old and sorry, and also old photo albums, off-seasonal clothes, extra framed artwork, extra serving pieces, kids' toys to switch in and out. And we even are currently using space in basement as an overflow pantry because upstairs food storage is squished into tiny closet. Haha, same person with the small fridge in main area. Go
Oh,
figure. LOL.
wow. I think we just need to give this person my phone number. I think, yeah, that's tricky. So
I
because of
guess
the
the
temperature
key.
in the
Sorry,
temperature in the attic, I would not risk putting pictures or clothing or things like that because that can really, especially in the hot summer months, can really damage your stuff. The only thing I would say that would be safe up there in the attic because of the heat in the summer would be dishes. But everything else, I would use those bins that I said from Home Depot, the black ones. Sorry. Um, those would be really great as far as if downstairs gets damp. Um, sorry. I would say use those black bins with the yellow
bless
cover.
you.
Yeah, uh, with the yellow cover for your clothing and pictures because I found that those really keep it temperature controlled almost. But try to use your basement more than the attic. The only thing, I mean, maybe some toys can go in the attic, but I'm really thinking about the heat in the summer. So I wouldn't put pictures, I wouldn't put clothing up there. I would try to get as much in the basement. Get those metal racks that I mentioned. They have them at Home Depot. I like getting them there. And put them into those black bins because it really keeps it, from getting mold and things like that. I don't know if that answered the question.
She says, with your sniffle, she's like, it's making me cry too.
Oh my God, I don't know what's going on with me. Like something's making me sneeze here.
And we have a few more. I know we're gonna wrap up soon.
Okay.
So you had mentioned that you sell items for clients. Do you have any resources about selling different kinds of items? Like what you usually do? You said the marketplace, that's right, the Facebook
Yes,
marketplace.
I do. And then I'm also connected with a bunch of auction houses. Like the job I'm doing right now in New Canaan, it's this older couple, they're selling their house and they're moving to New York City. And they have a whole bunch of like old antique, really valuable things. So the auction house came in and they really came with a truck and took everything to their warehouse. So if you're doing like a full house or something like that, an auction house like that might be most effective besides the Facebook marketplace.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, and someone's mentioning Habitat for Humanity is another great organization. They'll pick up your furniture and household items at your
Yeah,
convenience, which is
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Someone wants to know if you have a system for filing original legal papers. I know you said scanning, but it seems like they
Original
have a filing
documents.
system,
Yeah.
and then they're curious how to keep up with the filing.
I always try to like things like that because you need like say it's a will or something and you need like an original with the stamp and all that stuff. I always try to use something that's in case there's a flood or something like that. So you want it to be in some sort of bin, and Container Store has things like these. You just have to ask. Um, Something that in case there's a flood, it's
Mhm.
protected. But I would use something plastic. This way it's secure because you wouldn't want to put it in like a cardboard sort of box. And keeping up, I mean, they have bins that are plastic and you can even put files in them
Okay.
and label it, but at least it would be protected in case there's a flood. Or actually, someone had given me a present many years ago. It's a fireproof, it's almost like a small suitcase, like this size,
It's
and
like a safe.
it's fire and waterproof. No, it's basically made out of metal, and if your house burned down, it's fire and water protected. So that's something like if you really want to be extreme, but I would say make sure you use something that's plastic or like water, because
Mhm.
I've experienced flooding and mold and things like that so many times. But they have things like that at the Container Store. in their office section to protect documents.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And one more question. This person has a huge stash of wool and wool blend yarn. I'm sure they're a big knitter. What is the best way to store this yarn? Do you know?
I haven't worked with that, but wow, a bunch of yarn. I guess you would want something with a cover. I don't know if it would need to be plastic because yarn would collect dust. I mean, I would use something like this with a cover and then just kind of label it because at least it'll keep the dust away, separated according to like the fabric or the color or something like this, or the plastic bins, like the shoe boxes, something like that, where you could
You can do by color.
yeah, because something like this could really hold it and it's a nice size and it has a cover and it'll keep it, from dust and getting, damaged or anything like that. I would use something like this and then
Yeah,
you
that
can
would
see
be
through
really
it.
pretty too.
Yeah, and then you just label it accordingly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Adele. This has been wonderful.
You're
Lots of good
welcome.
tips. I'm inspired to start my spring cleaning.
My pleasure. I hope I helped you viewers out there.
I
I
hope so
gave
too.
you
I'm sure
some
you did.
ideas. I had fun and
Wonderful.
this
And
is
this was recorded, so it could be found on YouTube if you came in a little late or if you want to go back and listen to these tips. Have a great night. Thank you
have a
again.
good night, guys. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.